First, I would like to say that everybody's turning off your cell phone and vibrate. What's that? Well, can you speak louder? It's kind of nice. Can you speak louder? She cannot hear. Yeah, speak louder, please. Okay, so anybody invite guests tonight? We have invite guests tonight. Even invite the chairman to come, please come and share. Well, I saw you got one something.
Right.
Today.
Really? Oh.
Okay,
The ghost is following me.
okay, so next week Saturday, okay? Yes. Licensing. So, somebody here, have Ryan, or you have, Kimberly, write down the license. They're not here. They're not here. Anybody have the license want to share or no? No. Yes, they're fine. Yes. Knowing family.
You never know. Still at my hand.
Okay. You know, any information how
Just show you.
me? Let's see. Actually, and last week I closed one of it's one thing. I have two policy and one on the float. Wow. The other, I had one client, they want to change ownership, but she was sitting for too long to submit the paper. And then she get the note that, so I have to have the notice. So she had up to until July to reinstate. So I just called her today and said, hey, you submit it, because she want to change ownership only, but they asked for the ID. But because she submit paper too late, and then she doesn't take any premium, how she do the process. So, they let them know that if she don't, reinstate, then policy will lapse. So I hope that, I just call her to book appointment next Tuesday to reinstate the bank. So hopefully it's good. That's why I did for, I told them that I did for, I thought my money. Anyway, anybody want to share one? My dear boyfriend. Nava. Yeah, yeah. But yes, this time I'm talking about my policy is different. Because it's no public speaking. Yeah. Okay, it is true. More than 200. And then I said, whether it was like, not to psychology, you want, actually, he said, no, you apply for medical, your policy, you can do that. So he was stubborn. I said, okay, then I have to. And now I applied, but I really speak that. Which is maybe. They said only he can do, 11 feet. So that's the sense. So I'm thinking about saving the years. Okay. So you want to decline? Yeah. No, you still have tax. You still have. You still have. We lucky that we are having it from them. We can do it. And even if I, then we can change for the family. And I'm done. No, and now I'm I don't talk. You do too. Jean, you want to step? Good. You jump, Jean. Right. I think it's not. You see, even still dirty.
That's right.
Oh, that.
Classmate. Good morning, the police day. So,
The GX3.
last week, or last week, simple, today it is.
So what are we talking about now? So we did it.
Good one.
Yeah, the endless price so expensive.
You want to talk? You want to talk?
Just yeah,
Just here? Okay. If you are my client, okay, we have to talk one on one. So do you have already this one, right? The UL, whatever, the products for this. So how about funeral? Because I have a case, one case with the no funeral, and he have lots of debts in the Visa card or lots of Visa card. Yeah, credit card. So that's why I have I'm proud to explain for the Everest. One, because of 48 hours to get that money. And then I have a claim, lots of claim for Everest. So it's easy. So do you want to die? No. Right? But we have money this. We have money for the Everest, you don't die. Right? So just simple as that.
but the comparing with other access line and the first is hard. And it's more money. With more.
If you have already the health issue, go to guarantee. If no, it's not, go to the guarantee simplifying. It's easy simplified.
Okay, so give a big hand for yeah. We can compete right now. No? I have to find one with. That's me, but that's good. Okay, announcement. We have freedom call on Tuesdays at every Tuesday from 12 to 2. So everybody has time, you can come here and enjoy it. Time to do it. If not, then you can go to that Zoom.
They also mentioned the
Monday. So anyway, we have the Zoom meeting on May. Monday. Yeah, Tuesday. One is for Medina, that's 5:30. For
It's not taking universal language.
US, University, and then we have 7 o'clock for Nivali, update for about the no more Everett in the forester.
No more
Foresty. Foresty?
Forester.
No, forester.
Divari.
Nivali, forest, Everett.
Everett. What is it doing?
Package. When you.
Ross. Ross. Okay, from 35 bucks. Ross.
Sorry, I,
35 bucks.
prosperity. Getting finance is for prosperity. Okay, forestry.
Ross. Quality.
Forestry. When we look at forestry, forestry, we have 100,000 account, we get every packet free.
Yes.
And for clean food, that will be no more.
More.
Now, we will have Zoom exceptional club with Nibali to update about the prediction for that. So everybody have time to join on Zoom. Okay, And I assume I believe Chair, you already said good job already, so the Zoom he already said the group already.
More business for us,
Hmm?
more business for us.
More business for us.
For Everest,
Yes.
standalone.
Stand alone.
That's an open mind.
Okay, and now, Holland trip, anybody, I believe that already full. It's close, more, but that. Who went to Holland?
Today, tonight. It's
Okay, and then the other convention, July 16 to 19, and at the Golden Center, Sacramento. So I believe some people here go, right? Everybody go? No? Well, Lindy, and Ken, I think, yeah. And what else? Workshop, Send out workshop every day. We have from 2 p.m. and some at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. So you go look and you have new email, you have client you want to receive for them to get on and study, and yeah, please go ahead. Right? And they can learn from that. Now for main training, I would like to introduce one of our best trainer in our office, even knowledge. And please welcome Mr. Nelson.
Hello?
They're both the same.
I'm son.
That's what they used to say when I was 10 years old. Okay, today we're gonna talk about a couple of things, but one thing I want to talk about is estate planning. I think it's an important part of us as an individual, you know. Now, keep in mind that this is not, I'm not a tax advisor to you, and you should be a tax advisor to your client because obviously it's like any tax advisor. Although, you know, the tax rules, but they're just the one that should give tax advice to our clients as a company, right? This thing works? Oh, okay, perfect. Works. So in estate planning, I mean, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One is what's the meaning of estate planning? Number two, the need for estate planning. Why is it necessary? Number three, some terms you might be familiar with, you may not, you may or may not be. When you need an estate plan, when do you need it? We'll talk about that also. And when you should change your estate plan, because it's important, something happened in life, you got to make a change. Number six, is prepare inventory for your estate to know exactly what it is. Estate and tax planning, because ladies and gentlemen, the government, they put their hands in your pocket for both taxes and estate. And you have to know how to get around it and how to avoid it. You can't evade it, you have to avoid it. And next one is the possible tax planning strategies and of course, the probabilities. Okay. You want to go back on this then? Here it is. Now, what is a estate plan? An estate typically refers to total property or assets owned by an individual at the time of their death, which includes real estate, personal belongings, financial accounts, and investment. That's part of your estate. It also refers to the legal framework surrounding the management and distribution of those assets. So it's important to understand that there's a legality behind it. Now, I'll give you an example. I have one client. They just got married. They had a young daughter. The father got married to her. The mother had a son before. And what happened is that the father now, the father made the young daughter the beneficiaries and not the wife to the policy holder. Made her the beneficiary and the and what happened? In 6 months after issue the policy, the husband died. An accident, he died. The daughter is beneficiary, but she was only 12, I think about a year old afterwards, right? Now, when a child is under 18 years old, the government, the insurance company will keep the money to give to the government. The government held on to that money until the child was 18 years old. Immediately, the mother take care of the child with no money at all. So what happened? They kept it for 18 years, no interest, none much. How's that feel? So that's important when you're structuring things, make sure you can understand what the effects of it is. It can happen. Accident can happen anytime, who knows? Okay. And also report the legal framework. Now, if you look at the legal entity, upon debt, the estate becomes a legal entity that can enter into the contract, sue or be sued, and have obligations. So if you have an estate, people can sue you if that is in your name. It's always advisable, if you don't take risk in a business, is don't have the house in your personal name. If you have the house in your personal name and something goes on in the company and you're your only shareholder, you can sue the company. And they can sue your estate after the lien against it. It's always good to have it on option. Okay? There are things you gotta think about. Now, in an estate, first of all, you have the financial security, the legal clarity, tax management, healthcare, and legacy. All those things are important issues in an estate itself. So you have to make sure you understand all of those. Not just for your clients, just for yourself. Because if you're going to make millions of dollars in WFG, you have to make sure those things are in place. Because you never know what can happen anytime. Look at the guy who invented Apple. Multi-billionaire. At 62, he was gone. He couldn't make any changes. He lost it. His family didn't get anything because of that. Getting the property time was too busy with his business. So I took time to make sure my family was doing, I put everything in place in case anything happens tomorrow. They're taking care of that. But I'll give you an example. When I was 30 years old, well, my father died when I was 10. My mother died when I was 30. Now, my mother inherited the estate from my father back home. And now there's 5 kids, right? When my mom passed away, she never had a will. And what happened? The 5 kids now own the property now, right? Do you know from 1985 up until 2020, we couldn't settle the estate. You know why? Because if they were a meeting, they invite the husband and the wife to the meeting, and there was all of them. Never come to an agreement. So in 2020, I called a meeting and said, I don't want no spot. Only brother and sister in 15 minutes was taking to solve the problem. Because there was no contention in between. Everybody was scared. I said, it's 5 people. Split their estate equally. No big deal. Who said sign contract? So it's important that you make sure you make the stand with it. You can't never know what can happen. Okay? Now, in estate planning, you say estate planning is the process of arranging for management and distribution of your assets and affairs after your death in the event of incapacity. So not just death only, you can be incapacitated, it can happen. I remember when my grandmother, she was 87. And she was very strong, very healthy. She was walking around feeding the cat at home. And she slipped and broke her hip. When she went to the hospital didn't want her alive because she didn't sell. And I think the kid. But of course, we can't say that. But I think they did. And what happened is that incapacity, and it wasn't her fault, she just fell. Okay. It involves making decisions about what will happen to your property, finance, and responsibilities, ensuring that your wishes are carried out and that your loved ones are provided for. The little gentleman is known as a fact that when you have more than one kid, sometimes there's a fight in between. Give an example. My wife and her sister, always. But because of my website, the sister is always, she wants everything. She wants more, she wants it, she wants that. The mother recognized that long time back. And the father was attached to the older sister, and her mother was attached to her. Eventually, what happened? Before the mother passed away, we made sure she built the house to mash out the house. And the sister even got more upset because of that. Right? But it's a good thing for her because the sister, something else. Now, there's 3 sectors in estate plan. One is distribution of your assets, the financial legacy, and avoiding problems. This is one of the biggest areas, the problems themselves, because they want to avoid problems. Because I've seen people, they fight and then they misbehave because of one get greedy over the other. And sometimes it's not just the child, it's the spouse that's leaving them. And that causes all kinds of problems. We know that. So it's important to in estate planning. Now, in accumulated assets, ladies and gentlemen, there's two major areas: is how you accumulate the asset and how you distribute the planning at the end. Those are two major areas. Now, accumulated assets refer to the process of building a estate, which includes both cash and the various forms of property. This component is essential for ensuring that you have sufficient resources to pass on to beneficiaries. And key aspects include what? Savings and investment, for example, actively your money and investing in assets such as stocks, bonds, real estate, retirement, contributions, etc. to your estate. Now, there's another part of estate people don't think about sometimes is the insurance policy is part of your estate. So we have to explain to our clients that, hey, part of the estate is insurance, but that's part of your estate. And it's an important part of it because, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I like you to get this insurance. Because you see, you never know what can happen. Life insurance is good for a family because you're going to pass on to your kids, etc. But what if you become incapacitated and something happens to you while you're alive? How are you going to pay this? How are you going to survive? It's important. That's why I like critical insurance. I don't sell a policy without critical insurance. I don't include insurance. I don't sell it. Why? Because I think it's an important part. If they have to reduce the premium in the life portion, I include critical illness. No matter how much. 5,000, 50,000 doesn't to buy something. Okay? Now, in real estate, ladies and gentlemen, is owning property can be a major component of your estate. It's important to consider how real estate investments will manage passed on. And that's one thing that the government wants to go after because they know you have a home, you're paying taxes, you know who owns the home. If you pass with something on, maybe it's solution. My sister, she got married, they had a 2-year-old son. The husband was driving he's going to Detroit. He was in the car because he was going to Detroit. And his friend was driving, he was in the passenger side. And somehow a truck hit them. They go off the road, down the come up on the other side of the highway. If you go from London to Kerry, you know how that's like. The highway is in these two big areas and they have big covered in the middle. It wasn't set up the other way, hit by a truck. Died instantly. I was the one because my sister couldn't go, I didn't want to go. I went and I was the one who recognized who he was. And I took him to the police office because my sister couldn't handle it. It was too much. They just come back 2 years ago. Now, the funny thing is this. When we got married, I offered them life insurance. $500,000 of life insurance. It was a total policy. It was pretty cheap. It was no, I have insurance with some place, etc. When we actually checked, the insurance had expired. She had no coverage. So my sister stopped with zero insurance. And we won't pick it up. So I had to help her in all of this. And she got remarried afterwards. Actually, I found her a second husband. And I made sure she buys something good. She was coming the same mistake twice, right? Personal property, things of value, for example, jewelry, art, collectibles, etc. People don't think about those in the list. When you have jewelry, those are important things. They just affect it. I've seen it. When my mom passed away, one of my brothers went to the house and he grabbed all the jewelry. Stole them all. My sister didn't let go, of course, had a big fight after that, and she finally got some. But it happens. Your brothers and sisters, they get greedy sometimes. You don't know. It's important to consider those things also. Jewelry, especially art and stuff. Now, in distributing, ladies and gentlemen, planning is important. First of all, distributing planning involves making decisions about how your assets accumulate, which will be allocated after that. This component shows that your wishes are honored and that your beneficiaries receive what you intend for them. Key elements include a few things. Number one is creating a will. That is one of the things I like about the Everest package because of the fact that you can have a free will. Because most people sometimes they forget and they don't think about it. Forget about it. It's important you have a will. If they're going to put something in writing, just write them at least some. And Everest is good because the house is stored to you, it's safe. So even if you have a fire in the house, it is still safe. It's online. Okay? That's why things I used to sell it back also because it's an inspectable, no virus on the credit. But now that you're going to cut it, I hope the very price will come down. Because the price did include FRS package. So hopefully the cost of the insurance will come down. So we'll find out next Monday, 2 Mondays from now, right? We'll find out. So with a legal buy-in document that specifies how your assets should be distributed, it can also designate guardians for minor children and so forth. Establishing trust. A trust is important, especially if you have a large amount of money in government, and trust is crucial. If you're studying very wealthy people in the United States, what they develop a trust for their family, what they do is that they put in trust in there, and for you to become part of the church, you have to become part of the family, you have to register in the trust. Because I tell one thing that happened with Eaton's. Eaton's had a couple of children, and they were always fighting. And the parents passed on the leave the Eaton's to them, and they still fight. Because there was no trust. But what happened to what's the guy's name now? I forget his name now, being company just now. One. He was what's not. Mr. Walmart, Sam Walton, he created a trust. And he put the money in the trust. And they can't take the money out. They are part of the trust, they get an income every single year from the trust, but they can never destroy the trust. It's one from generation to generation to generation now. So if you have a large amount of money, that's something you want to think about. Like, it's not about the amount of money, it's that you want to have a trust, you can pass on from generation to generation. That way, one person can steal all the money and disappear. It goes on, and you leave a legacy for your family as well. It's very, very important to establish a trust. Now, it used to be that Quebec was one of the best places in Canada for that trust, but Quebec now wants to settle. So we got to be very careful if you're going to go to Quebec, and Quebec will become a different country. And then finally, they want to separate. You remember the trial years ago when Air Canada was registered in Quebec as the leading company, and then after that happened, Air Canada moved. Our companies moved to Ontario because of that reason. So before you create a trust, make sure that that's exactly what it is.
Bluetooth disconnect. Bluetooth connected.
Now, take control of how and where your assets are distributed. You can help avoid probate, reduce tax, and protect your assets from creditors. So, ladies and gentlemen, the creditors, they can come in. Now, I saw something that I said to some people today that the president of Royal Bank, he was discussing about what the bank actually does inside. But they went and they invest that money through AI and different things and make 15-20% every single time they do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, when they put your money in the bank and you earn interest in the bank, you're going to earn 0.5 and 1% interest. It's a waste of time. It makes sense if you go, but you tell the client, hey, well, I have the money in a GIC, put into a SEC fund. At least the SEC fund have 75 to 100% guarantee on your principal. In the bank, there's no guarantee in the principal. But in the sector, you have a guarantee. And at least your money is protected. No matter what market goes down, your money is protected. And you make average. I was talking to this young lady about it. 9-10% a year on the average. That's pretty decent. Even real estate is not giving 9-10%. Okay. 3 is make sure your beneficiaries clear specific beneficiaries for various accounts. Because in retirement accounts, insurance policy ensures that assets are passed on directly without going through probate. Now, one thing that I found in the system that I've had this experience before. I have some clients from Iran, and they came to Canada and they bought life insurance from us, and they named their kids, but we did not get the kids' phone number or where they are in Iran. So when the parents pass away, how do you find them? Because it's just going to go back and say, hey, you're the agent. How do you find kids that they send them money? So make sure when you have people who are outside of Canada as beneficiaries, get their phone number, their contact information, and where they live in that country. So at least you can help the family based on the happens, you can pass on to the family. Because you won't go with that. It's benefit. It happened to me one time when 2007, I went to Sri Lanka. One of my friends had bought policy. But when we went there, luckily I was in Sri Lanka when they called me. I was able to look up the person and find where they live. And then you not that money. It happens. Yeah. Now, one thing to be careful about it because I had this experience. These clients were from India. And the bottom left becomes consequence. Everything was cool, everything was not. They went to Indian vacation. The wife came back, said, my husband died in India. She brought back a letter to get. So I gave it to me, I gave it to the insurance company. And they paid it, right? It was about 3-4 years later, I'm in Vancouver. And in the mall, I saw this lady. The husband. And so I said, how come she's back in Canada? She came back from London. Oh, that's correct. So I called him to come and said, I'm not so sure. But maybe you can verify because I started getting this mall, etc. And they sent somebody to verify and they found that they lied. If there was a fake victim, of course the jail and both. Well, it happens. Well, they're coming from it happens. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, beneficiaries are very important in pass on the example. Tax implications. Understanding the potential estate tax and planning for them can help maximize the value of what you leave behind. Studies may include gifting assets during their lifetime, a set of charitable trusts. See, a charitable trust is important. Give it to your kid before you pass away as a gift. Remember, gift is not taxable, right? That's why you can give gifts to the charity. You can give up 75% of your income as a gift, not taxable. Last year, I gave my son a car. I just buy it for him. If I buy it for him, it goes in his name. You got to pay taxes. I gifted him the car. There's no transfer tax. And now we charge you GST when you charge property. Transfer over, no transfer tax. You go, I know something. It's things that you learn. That's why you see when we have this tax things, you have to think about it when you remember. I learned these things from Ed Gilmore. You guys have met Ed Gilmore before. You saw the CRA, 25 years. He was thinking better. Even though I understand taxes, he does my taxes. You know why? Because when they see his name on your tax return, no questions asked. Because they know he knows the inside stories. In 2020, I was stuck in Italy in COVID time, and a client called me says, Hassan, CRA just estimated that I earn around about $250,000, 250,000 in taxes. So I said, okay. I called Ed. I said, Ed, this client, you need to be with them. He met with the client, he charged the client $10,000. He fixed the problem, the client only paid $50,000 in taxes, saved $300,000. Was that worth it? Of course it's worth it. Okay, he knows the business. My brother called me last week. He was a very many years. He got divorced. His wife is under 65. And you know what happened is that sometimes the courts are crazy. He got divorced, she's working, right? But they assume it, they assign it where he got to pay her an income until she's 65 years old. So I said to him, there's a solution to it. I know that he used to be a judge for 25 years in Ontario. So I said, we'll talk to the judge. And the judge read one letter, sticks. And he knows the rules. You see, he's who you know. If you ever have a legal problem, let me know. I do to him. He can fix it. He got it. The judge was only 5 years in Ontario. He's now 82, he's retired. But I met him 2 years ago. So he's to me, how I show. So I'm telling you this, people you need to know and understand. Okay. Healthcare directives and powers of attorney, including instructions for medical care and appointments, someone make decisions on your behalf to be vital and ensuring the wishes are respected. Because let's just for example, ladies and gentlemen, you become incapacitated that something happens to you. Now, who's going to make the health decision? It's important to have a beneficiary, somebody you can trust that can take care of it. And sometimes it's not your kids, it's somebody else that you can help or can help you make decisions. By the way, I was telling you guys today, I should have known this. Is this being recorded now, Jeremy? No, but I can say. I met a gentleman last week, a friend of mine that I've known for 20 years. And he went to clinic, but scared. And I just have spoken about here and here. So I said, what's going on? He says, where did Tom my clinic? I was on this guy. So I went by here, 300, went by there. And those of the guys who know, I said, professional soccer. I said, comes with this knee all the time because in between where the joints meet, the thing was all over. So now I'm having problems. So he says, I give you a few tests. He did the red light therapy for my foot 45 minutes. Done. All clean. Fixed. So I said to him, is this all I can do? He says, no, I have 5 machines. One thing I think. One to the board, one to the second. So I took my wife and my daughter. My daughter's having a back problem, comes with massive experience. One treatment was gone. I didn't believe myself. No, I said, but can't be the secret behind all this. He says, you have to meet my boss. He's off the helmet. So when the helmet so Hassan was treating people, he showed me videos. He gave me care. 2 cancer. Breast cancer. There's one child who was she had autism. School next mountain. Should the kid before? Even the kid, he was running on the mountain. The kid went to the hospital for about a year afterwards because something in the brain. And the mother didn't kill the kid because his pharmaceutical companies saw the videos and they went to him and shut him down. He couldn't talk about cancer anymore. Because his family probably didn't know the $300 on his dollars pills. Now I'm bringing somebody to buy out shares in his company. To buy shares in it. And I'm going to get the rights to take him to the Caribbean, manufacture it there, treat people there. When we have enough evidence, we'll bring it back to Canada. We can't say no. I won't tell which island. They're going to do it. I'll tell you what my motivation is that. My mom died from cancer when she was still 45 years old. And Andrew died from cancer. Some other people died from cancer. So to me, it's important, an important issue. They help people. Because they said, gentlemen, if you do something, might help you. That's not the case. The more you give, the more you give.
So we need to find food, attention.
Yes. On the mother side.
How many people is there?
We have done that with them. My mom said, my mom was. You my mom, she was only 45 years old.
Because my husband found me, he had cancer, and my husband found the 9th kid has cancer, 2 after.
The good thing is that in most breast cancer, you remove the breast. You fix it, no problem. Okay. So that's an important thing. See, ladies and gentlemen, healthcare is very crucial. Oops. A clear understanding of how your financial is crucially effective is still planned for several reasons. Number one is informed decision. Having a comprehensive grasp of your financial situation allows you to make informed decisions about how you ought to allocate your assets. This includes understanding the value of investments, property, savings, and all outstanding debts. Knowing what you have and what you owe helps you to plan effectively for your estate. So you gotta know what you have, assets, what you owe. I saw something that this people, with AI these days, if you Google something in there and you read something, that they start popping things at you, right? So I got this thing that this guy talk about what all the wealthy people do, all the world. He's telling me all the secrets. And what I do, I don't know. So I have it on my phone. What I do, I go on my laptop, I turn on Word, I put record. So when you talk and they prints the words in what document. So in case I ever lose the video, I have it printed. My kids teach friends. My phone is talking, and he's talking to the computer. I don't do nothing. Type everything. That's why I edit afterwards. Number 2 is setting realistic goals. Ladies and gentlemen, financial clarity allows you to set realistic goals for your estate. Whether you wish to provide for your family, support charitable causes, or ensure your business continues after passing, understanding your financial position helps you establish achievable objectives. I don't know how many of you go to church, but I'll give you an example. The church I used to go to about 3 years ago, it was a bigger church that had about 3,000 people, and there was a problem between the pastor and she said, and she was a good pastor, and the older pastor was getting jealous because all the people like the young pastor, whatever it is, right? So it's simple. So I moved with her because I liked it. And I used to help when they collected the donations, you know, you gotta go in the back of the phone, etc., etc., and go. So I was part of the team. So I said to her one day, I said, listen, I know some of these older people, they give it consistently every month, $400 or $500 a month. She goes, yes. I said, do you earn money? She goes, no, I'm saving to back in the church. I said, yeah, I said, yes. If you buy a life insurance policy on each of those people, if you spend say $400 a month, which you will need right now, when that person passes away in 5 or 10 years from now, you can get $1 million that goes to your church. You go, really? Can that really happen? I say, yes, because the church becomes the beneficiary of the policy. You can't still be buying to the church, but you buy the policy on the plan, and the plan signs off that church and no one, you revocable beneficiary. It goes, oh my God, I never realized. So I would tell people about policy. So I did something for myself. That's a lot. So talk to your pastor. You don't know these things.
They don't know how to die yet.
For partners. Well, they were all the people. They're happy in time. You never know. So talk to your pastor. You get some sales up. And she was happy. She told me, she said, oh my God, I just collected $2 million. It's the church.
That's a smart way of doing what I don't.
Of course. Number 3 is tax planning. Effectively, estate planning involves in tax considerations. A clear understanding of your finance allows you to assess potential estate taxes, inheritance taxes, or other financial implications of your estate. This knowledge has helped you develop strategies to minimize tax burdens on the beneficiaries, ensuring you receive the maximum benefit from your estate. So, ladies and gentlemen, you pass on cash to your kids, you know, you're going to tax it. It's better if it goes into a policy, you pass on, it goes in tax. You know. And a lot of times don't understand those things. You have to explain those things to the parents. Okay? Or put into a trust groups. Okay? Number 4, surprises.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Me personally, I don't like surprises. I shall plan to avoid surprises. When you have a detailed picture of your finances, you can anticipate a plan for potential
Bluetooth connected.
unexpected debts, fluctuating asset values, or changes in financial income can impact your estate. Financial clarity helps you account of analysis variables, allowing you to adjust your planning systems. So make sure you plan and you understand it. Okay? So make sure because surprises are not good, especially illness surprises, getting the family all of a sudden. Here's an example. My wife worked at TBC. One of the guys that she approached to sell life insurance, oh, we have enough life insurance, but insurance is your study. I'll just give you the 1.5%. The husband passed away. There were 15 people. When back home, he came back, he passed away. Right? He passed away. Now the wife has to go raise the money because she has no money to bury the husband because even she will get about $100,000 in 30 days from now. Fortunately, people do. And I'm especially yes, it's penny. We have after the first machine with the package. After he died, now she couldn't wait and get insurance. Because now she goes, maybe my kids might do the same thing. So she wants to buy policy. So this example, sometimes people realize this thing, but these are things that happen in life. Communicating. Your wishes have a clear understanding of your finances. Make it easy to communicate your wishes to your partner and client. When everyone involved has a clear picture of your financial landscape, it reduces confusion, potential conflicts, ensuring your estate is managed to your intention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that can happen is that if you have a couple of kids, for example, sometimes they don't all get along. It's always better to get a lawyer or somebody you can trust who can settle the estate. But then when anything happens to you, there's something that that person separates the action in your wishes. Now, what the case one about your wishes. And it doesn't have to be a lawyer, it can be a good friend of yours, but who's trustworthy and say, okay, they'll do what you ask them to do. Not because they favor one child over the other. They do exactly what you ask. Because the wishes of the person who's alive, and when they pass away, it's their wishes of the people who makes you happy. I know sometimes as advisors, we're too busy. So ladies and gentlemen, after all, look at September away. Most people will take sometimes a year to plan their vacation, but they won't take 1 day to plan their life. And plan what happens in case something happens. Now we're going to Jamaica next week. I plan everything to the T. Right? When you fly, who's going to sit where? And this insurance and the travel insurance is all done. Right? Even the rental car, everything is done. I make sure. Because I'm just designer, I just plan things, make sure. I don't make surprises. Because I've had surprises in my life. I lost millions of dollars because of the surprises. It was sensitive. And lost is supposed to do in between. Jesus Christ, who betrayed Jesus Christ? Judas did. Who betrayed Caesar? Who just held up Caesar and gave him the knife? Can you imagine that? So you have to be very careful, it's all of people's closest to you. So you got to analyze those people too. I'll tell you something. There's no one person who knows anything about me. No one person. And even my wife. She looks at it and God knows. Yes. But I did show all the pieces of it. And I have a back thing. All my secrets are in there. And when I die, they'll get the password and they can go down all my secrets are. Everything is detailed. Great detail. Exactly how things are. Yes. But at least you have the password to get in. Here are some of the key reasons why ongoing attention to your estate is necessary, particularly in light of life events. Much of all, make sure you consider your joint assets. So your joint assets with your spouse, for example, and those can happen tomorrow. There's no guarantees in them. It's all possible for you. I'm surprised. Number two is updates. If there's anything happens, make sure you update it. Like, for example, let's say before when they got married, you have to update your will, all these have to be updated. Right? You have a divorce, you have to update the will. And create your wills and update the wills. Always. Those are very important things to keep answering. But get married after requires a revaluation of your assets you may plan to, because let's say, for example, you were single, and when you get married, maybe you have a life insurance of your assets, etc. You have to update it. Now, sometimes people get married and just go on their honeymoon and they forget all these things that too. They come back and they're so happy, etc. But then something happens. It can happen. And your spouse as a beneficiary in your will or trust, and ensure that they're included in your insurance policy and retirement plans. Consider joint assets. You know, one thing my wife learned that when she got her license, her life insurance license, she learned about beneficiaries. Right? And she goes, oh, that's what it works. So she's done my wife. Well, no, but I can't change it. She makes sure that you go to the beneficiary. So sometimes that things you don't do. But she was smart. She says, okay, now I'm the beneficiary was. But I have 5 kids. So I give them a percentage each, and she gets a percentage. So I said, is that this? Oh, I have to give it to you. She wanted the meeting to go to the country. I said, no. Being the faith. So they're beneficiary. Consider joint assets, decide how to manage and distribute the shared assets among during your marriage. Create and update your will, of course. You have to do it. Oops. Now, in your ongoing estate, first of all, when you have new kids being born, first of all, you have guardianship decisions. So you have to make your guardians, you have trusted children, and you have beneficiary changes. These are three fundamental things you got to keep in mind every time something happens. Ladies and gentlemen, things happen, but things change. They'll make sure of it. I put things that I love phones. I put my things on the phone, and I get a reminder every day. Bang, reminders on. So I can't forget. And if I fix it, I don't make out a reminder. Sometimes it goes for 2-3 days, or 2-3 weeks. But I finally fix it, we got a reminder. Oops. The arrival of a child brings you responsibility and consideration necessary updates on your estate plan. So let's say, for example, you have 1 or 2 children before, but when you have a new one born, you got to update it. You can't forget. Especially that one is quite young. You have no choice in that. Guardianship decisions. You need to designate the guardian minor for your minor children in your will to ensure they're cared for by someone who trusts and if something happens to you. If something happens to you, you're going to have something in the family you trust will be your investment. It's important. Also, trust your children. So trust can help manage assets for your children until they reach a certain age, ensuring that they are financially supported while safeguarding against potential mismanagement. So if your kids are under 18 years old, your life insurance policy, let's say you'll pass on the money goes to the kids, they don't know what to do. They can get some smart person come along and take all their money. That's what I tell my I said, Ty, remember the 3 things I teach. Ethics, morals, and values must line up. You don't line up, you run as fast as you can. Because we all know that's what causes those great marriages. Ethics, morals, and values don't line up. And because of those problems,
That's what my father asked.
Yep, of course. Second question down, do that. Yep. And let them write it down, I can see. Of course, but if you include your children as beneficiaries and relevant accounts and update your relevant financial documents. I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, about in fact, it's what the 1999 close out. I realized something. Do you know all the banks, they have what they call dormant accounts? So let's say, for example, one of your family member, maybe your grandmother, have an account at the bank. She's the only name of her name is on the bank account. If she dies tomorrow, they'll take back and come and call the family and say, oh, you better have 100,000 in the bank. No, they don't. They keep it. And the line carries that they keep it for 7 years. They collect all into that money, then they give the government out. So I started a business back then, right? Because I used to find out when government accounts, I got this book from the government, and I can buy government accounts. And I'm thinking, wow, I just pick all the ones who go for 100,000 pounds, and some were like billions. But I mean, I'm thinking small ones, big billions. So I got this Chinese lady, I call her up, I said, young lady, your grandmother passed away. Because her name, she goes, how do you know? I said, because she had an account at one bank, and she had over 150,000 in the bank. I can tell her exactly what the account number is, where to go, and I can get the money. But my cost is 10%. She goes, no, I'm not going to do anything. I said, okay. She never would. Really? I'm going to charge you 10% to give you instructions. You kidding? She never did. If you guys can find the book today, because I go there to look for it, the government doesn't pick the book anymore, it's online somewhere. The government funds. Do you know Royal Bank alone over 4 billion a year endowment accounts. That's a lot of money. That goes to government. It's supposed to go to families. After we have the families, but to the families. So make sure when you have a bank account, don't have your name only, put one in the kids' name. People don't know. So I put, like you say, my favorite girls and all my accounts. If I die tomorrow, they go to know. I think it goes. And she knows because what I do when I give her every week I give her some money to go to school to buy whatever, right? So she would I have a TD bank. I open an account for her, join me and her, so I transfer to her, and then she transferred to her. She don't use that. So she knows it's TD bank, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you have to do some plan. Don't make mistakes. And sometimes we just assume things that we don't do with the kids. Because what do you work for? So take your own kids and not family. That's what you work for. That's for the government. So not the banks. I want the banks to take my money. I want to give it to my kids. Okay? And so that's important. In divorce, you have to reassess your beneficiaries. You have to modify your guardianship and division of assets. But let's say, for example, the guardian you had was your wife's sister, for example. If you get a divorce, that has to change. Because what can happen? Families also, of course, right? So these are things you have to keep in mind. There's a divorce, and you not have your client, you tell your client, hey, you change your beneficiaries. Like, come on, happy to change your beneficiaries, modify your guardianship, and do that. You see, is even teach your clients these things already. You're giving more referrals. The best referrals are clients who are satisfied, they give a referral. Okay. Look, I went wrong. Sorry. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Yes. I did this one ready. I will try that. So, one, in the case of divorce, you have to register the beneficiary, modify guarantee, and of course, to be done. Yes, simple. Can you go back? Sure. Yeah? Yes, please. Now, the second part of my training, so the one we have, it will be 10 minutes. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, estate planning is an ongoing process that requires regular technical and adjustments, particularly following a significant life event. By proactively reviewing and updating your estate plan, you can ensure that it accurately reflects your current situation and intention, providing peace of mind for both you and your loved ones. You see, that's why you should call your client at least once a year. Because you never know what happened with that situation. It could be a divorce, a new child, it could be somebody dying in the family, and then update and say, if something happens, say, hey, we need to meet the guy, got to update and so. That's part of your requirement. When you meet a client, you always get referral when you get face to face. In case of update. Now, if you want to know more about generational wealth, there's you can take a picture of that. That's a website you can go on and teach a lot of things in this video. So watch it. It's very, very good.
Okay, about that, can you move to conclusion? Thank you, and government only one.
Go back to conclusion.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Now, let's talk about mindset. You see, there's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. And that's one of the things that causes people to lack in their business when they start their business. You see, what the growth mindset says over here, the fixed mindset says failure is my limitation and my abilities. So I think if I fail, that's my limitation and my abilities. The growth mindset says failure is an opportunity to grow. So you make a mistake, it's time to grow. On the other hand, I'm good at it or I'm not. You have people come in and join us, but they come to stick with the business, well, I can't, I'm not doing it. I can learn to do anything I want. It's a different thing now. I don't like to be challenged. Over here, challenges help me grow. Jealousy of others are supposed to inspiration. So when you see people who are jealous of you, they're on this side, obviously. Yes. And of course, I stick to with the old methods. I like to try new things.
Never stop learning.
You never stop learning. No matter how old you are, you never stop learning. I try to learn at least one new thing every day. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So AI these days now, a lot of things pop up and I try to learn new things. Now, for those of you who have seen this one before, I think I did one before. Don't tell me answer. Because in once or here, for never seen, I want to figure out the answer, tell me the answers. Okay? It's called the mathematics of life. Life is about mathematics. I find this to be very true. That's what I'm sharing with you. Now, here you have each letter has a number. Of course, there's 26 letters, so there's 26 numbers, 1 to 26. Okay? Now, my daughter, she wants to, she's a gymnast. She doesn't like math. She likes history and all that, but she doesn't like math. So I got to force her. Because when I was young, before I was 7, 8 years old, I had to learn the 12 10 people, all 12 tables. Back and front, I used to do. I can tell you now. But she doesn't want to. So I'm trying to teach you some shortcuts also, right? So keep this in mind. So you look at love. LOV. 12, 15, 21, 54. I mean, there's only 54%. So love is not your secret. People always think, well, I fall in love and this is the secret of my life. It's not. That's why there's divorces. So the people change, right? Next one is money. You may say, well, it's money, right? It's only 72%. So it's not love, it's not money. What is it? Right? No.
No money, no love.
No. You may say, well, make sure I get a good education. It's important to get a good education, but good education. It's only 92%. It's still short. Is that 100%? Only 92%.
What's
Right.
100%?
Right?
What's the 100%? I can do
We're going to get to it.
it.
Have patience.
Excited. Let's take patience.
Means knowledge. Is that love? Is not money? Is not education? It's knowledge. Right? When you look at knowledge, it's only 96%. So it's close, but not there. It's most right? Not there. You want to guess which one? You might say, well, it's this one. But WFG teaches all the time, right? Leadership. No. Leadership is close. It's only 7. So we're almost there.
Leadership is 97. Yeah,
Yes, you're gonna guess the worst.
leadership.
You might say what everybody else can. Oh, maybe it's not that. It's gotta be
No.
right. How do you make it's still short. So you got love, you got money, you got knowledge, you got education, hard work. No. So what is
I'm
it?
missing something. Myself.
I will get you from what was the one thing that God gave you that nobody can take away? Hmm? God gave you full control.
Yeah, very important.
Oops.
Attitude.
He says the one thing that man can't take away from nobody can control is your attitude. And that's why God decided that. Attitude is the one that comes to 100%. Yeah. It's all attitude.
Yes.
I have an attitude.
My husband is.
You know, attitude is not 100%.
Is it?
I have an attitude. But I have an attitude from the-
Little John, some people don't understand some of these things in life.
Let's look and see how to do something.
I always tell my kids that I says, watch your attitude, attitude is key. No matter how bad the person is, if they have a good attitude, it's all on track. So
I have to do something. Yes.
it's the key.
I
See, therefore, attitude towards life and what makes our life 100% successful. The life of mathematics is amazing. You see, you always come back, you analyzing and saying, what God is control what? Because nobody can. Correct, after you're successful. Job. So this can be, and who controls it? You control it. Without that, you control it.
It could be bad.
You can pay all those, young man? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Gaylord? Attitude.
Masters.
I hope that you enjoy it.
That's what I. I'm sorry.
Of course.
Russian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like 20s I was.
Still there.
Still very good.
Well, it's not.
It's all attitude. Attitude.
Oh, we got it done. Smiling.